You are alone. There's no more responses. There's no more inquiries. We don't hear anything anymore. We don't send anything anymore. There's no point. This is the end. This is the death of humanity. There's no more of anything. We have never fallen so low, and we will never truly recover. The stars are no longer ours, but now just a mystery of violence and worry, of what horrors await us out in the dark between the stars. And there will not be a respite for our people for 10,000 years. And the respite we will find at the end of this suffering is a despotic regime of war-wielding genetic nightmares that will slaughter our people until they submit to their will. This is the Long Night. The Long Night, also known as the Age of Strife, is the period in between M20 and M30. This saw humanity's technology fall, not through one singular instance, but 7 instances, all happening at similar times. The war against the Men of Iron, the warp growing in turmoil, the loss of the use of AI technologies for humanity. All of these accumulated with a humanity that was cut off, isolated from each other, weakened and broken. It is an age of darkness. It is an age of base survival. Petty warlords will wage endless conflicts for the next 10,000 years. Xenos will ravage undefended human worlds, and the warp, in its ever mysterious ways, will plot, setting siege for the coming age. Human civilization will change drastically to survive this night. Some of the civilizations will give up their humanity entirely to evolve into something new. Some will embrace the machine and submit to their AI overlords. Some will become slaves to Xenos, and some civilizations will fall to the warp, worshipping things they cannot understand, run by insanity, but most will be wiped out, never to be seen from again. They may survive 7,000 years, but they're still 3,000 years too late. Most of our knowledge from this time is from the Primarchs during the Great Crusade and their conquests, what they found in an unconquered universe, and what they fought. Many alien civilizations turned on humanity the moment it collapsed, and many did not. But it did not matter, for the Balter found them all, such as the Capiculi that Rogaldorn and his legion put to the death. Once thought to be human, further analysis revealed that they were once Xenos slaves that had been genetically modified far beyond baseline humanity, with an imprint of a neural network within their brain, which meant any psychic pressure applied to them caused immediate and violent death. Rogaldorn followed his orders, quoting, "Compliance is only for human worlds." He then proceeded to slaughter their governmental body with his Terminators and the Phalanx holding above their homeworld. Or the Luna Wolves encountering a loyal AI to humanity, but by the time it was discerned that the AI still held humans in high regard, it had already been exterminated by the Adeptus Astartes. For the Astartes did not look like their previous masters, or for one of the more stranger encounter with Xenos. On a world with insectoid race of hives deep below the ground, the Emperor himself and Horus Lupercal found a tapestry of a map of old Terra in uniform, something Terra had not looked like for centuries or millennia. What I believe that to be is a long-lost branch that mutated themselves into something different. Or perhaps the warp had its taint embedded within this strand of humanity. But the overall picture of humanity was a shattered glass mirror of every single different type of governmental system, every single different type of survival tactic, every despotic regime, every utopian ideal, gone to 1,000, but a decaying is universal throughout all of these human empires. Even though some do not decay as hard as others, it was still a horrid existence. The genetic mutation hives that Ferrus Manus took over, where status was designed at birth, you were designed for a purpose, you would live your entire life to that purpose. The soul, meaningless. To the opulence of the world, Fulgrim conquered with only 5 of his Astartes, where they were stuck in a never-ending downward spiral into savagery and barbarism as the nobles ate and drank and plotted. However, some realms held strong through Old Night, such as the Necromunda sector, which had warp gates and other technological advancements wanted by the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Adeptus Astartes. Look to Macragge, the 500 Worlds, which stood strong even before the arrival of Guilliman. Look to the Interrex, as they held co-prosperity with other Xenos species, and still mercy and kindness through Old Night. But for humanity on a whole, this would be the darkest age of humanity. Of course, the age of the Imperium would bring death and destruction through the Horus Heresy. However, the age of the Imperium is far, far better for humanity on a whole than the Long Night, because for all we speak bad of the Imperium, it did truly save humanity. Humanity at this point was a rotting corpse spread across a field, waiting to be devoured by the endless tide of the Xenos. With the Emperor's conquest of the galaxy, it was a brutal affair, but the sympathy should not be spared to the Xenos, for the human had suffered far more at their hands. Or so says the Imperium. But it is undeniable that with the end of the Long Night, humanity once again found hope. Once again could dream of a unified galaxy. Once again not having to fear the monsters that lurk in the stars. But for all too many, it was far too late. Civilization after civilization after civilization was found by the Imperium, wiped out by galactic horrors, by Drukhari raids, and all too often by the Orc menace. But one of the sadder truths is, all too often, the society would commit suicide, either through nuclear annihilation of themselves, or through a misguided attempt to fight for resources, power, prestige, religious reasons. Every sin humanity could commit, it did commit in this time. But now, in the modern age, we look back on Long Night as nothing more than an age of darkness which the Emperor saved us from, that us humanity may stand and never fall again, for the Emperor keeps us safe, keeps us fed, keeps us warm, and keeps us ready to fight off the night forevermore. But it also is the great filter, an end of an era. Humanity's future has been set upon a path. The Emperor and humanity have become inseparable, with one needing the other to survive. This is an undeniable truth of the galaxy. So now, we sit and we pray. Emperor, may another long night never come, for the sun has shined for so long upon your realm. May it never descend into an age of darkness. Genuinely, though, Long Night is way worse than the modern day Imperium. If you do not believe that is so, I got news. They had, oh god, just real rapid fire. They had basically genetic mutation courts where if you were showing any signs of deviation, you would be turned into corpse starch. Like, there's this misconception, I think, where, like, humanity was doing just fine, because they like to always use Enderex or Macragge as examples of, look, humanity is just doing just fine, when right next door to those are civilizations being wiped out and, like, enslaved and tortured. The Lion had a couple of these where he had mind controlling the Thrud, just all the aliens were completely beating the crap out of humanity. So yeah, Emperor doing that probably was too much in some areas. There's probably some aliens doing well, but really it was just him wiping out. Anyway, let me know what you think of the video. Just wanted to get these last things out. And yeah, it's been a while since the last one had stuff going on. So let me know what you think. Have a good one.